Good morning, everybody. This is Haley with Homebody, a new antique booth at Catawba River Antique Mall in Belmont, North Carolina. I know I've had a lot of different hobbies, and we're gonna see where this one takes me. It all kind of started in the fall of 2022 when my husband started a junk removal business, and he started to get some things that we didn't know what to do with. So the bigger items I was able to sell on Facebook Marketplace, but the smaller items didn't seem to do so well there. And I thought, well, I don't want to just donate them or give them away. I know they have some value, but what am I going to do with them? And then I met a couple who was flipping storage units, and they told me that they were putting some of the items they found in an antique booth. And I thought, that actually sounds like a pretty good idea. So I got on the wait list, and sorry, there are cars that drive by our house, if you can hear that. I got on the wait list, and about 6 weeks later, I got a call and they said they had some availability coming up. So I went down to the antique mall, talked with a girl there, and she showed me around, showed me like 5 or 6 booths. And I decided on mine based on location within the store. It was in the middle, and I felt like the lighting was really good. Some of them were darker than others. I know that you can add lights, but some of them make it easier than others because it's an old mill and every booth is different. Like some people have built crossbars on the top so that you can easily hang lights from the middle. And if not, you'd have to do that yourself. Some of the walls are concrete and you can't really, I guess you could drill into them, but it's just easier not to have to do that. So I didn't really want an exterior wall booth. I knew that. Anyway, I decided on mine based on how the walls looked, the lighting, and the location. Today, I want to go over the contract with you. I'm not going to tell you every specific detail, but if you are new to this business, like I am, you've never done a contract with an antique mall, and I just want to kind of give you what to expect because I think most of this is probably very standard. So if you want to go over the contract with me, just keep watching. Okay, so I have kind of abbreviated the contract, and I'm going to be looking back and forth at my notes. So let's get into it. First, you have your deposit for the space. You get that deposit back, or it goes toward your last month of the contract rent, as long as you don't break the contract or it's not terminated in any way. For me, that is $225 a month for a 10 by 10 booth space, 10 feet by 10 feet. So I had to pay the deposit in December, and then I had to pay my January rent the 1st of January, and I didn't actually move into my booth until January 8th, 9th, something like that. So before I even made any money, I already had paid them $500. So just know that you are going to probably be out 2 months of booth rent before you even get your first check. For me, the first check will be cut February 10th, and every month on the 10th thereafter. They also take a 10% commission on all sales, which is pretty standard to have a monthly rent and a commission. In addition to that, they also take 3% for every customer who uses their credit card to make a purchase from your booth. So you can assume that you need to account for 13% gone from every item you sell when you're pricing items in your booth. The great thing is, and I have done this in the past with my photography business, they collect and remit the sales tax for your state, which is awesome because that is such a pain in the butt. Staffing. This place does not require me to work there or volunteer or work my booth. And that is part of what I'm paying for. I'm paying for them to hire a staff to walk around the building, kind of keep security and check people out. And the length of the contract is 6 months. Then it goes month to month, but they do require that you give 30 days notice if you want to leave or you forfeit your deposit. You have to fulfill the 6-month contract. If for some reason you were like to leave after 4 months, then you still owe the last 2 months of rent. As for theft and damage, the mall's policy is that they are not responsible for vendors' items. It's the vendor's responsibility to have insurance coverage on their merchandise. I don't know if I'll do this in the future. I think it just kind of depends on the value of the items that I have in there, because it is a antique mall built out of an old mill. So you kind of wonder about the potential for fire there, especially since so many people have lamps and things plugged in. But so far I have not gotten insurance coverage. And as far as theft, they do have people who are walking around the mall to kind of keep an eye. They don't allow any large bags in. You have to leave those at the desk. Item discounts. But the mall's policy is if the item is priced at $40 or more and the customer asks for a discount and the vendor does not put firm on the price tag, then the customer can automatically get a 10% discount. So you always want to price your items that are at $40 or more, knowing that you could be losing $4 or more off of that sale. If you don't want that, then you write in red on your tag firm, and then they won't give that discount. If you have an item that is priced at $40 or more and the customer wants more than a 10% discount, then the mall will call you. So you always want to make sure you're available and you have access to your spreadsheet or however you keep your inventory list, so that you know your numbers and you know, okay, this is what I paid for this item. I need to get at least this for the sale to make sense. Or if that item has been in your booth for a long time and you just want it to be gone, you might make that deal regardless of how much you paid for it. Also in the contract is that your booth needs to be clean, full, and orderly. The type of merchandise they accept are antiques, shabby chic, mid-century modern, local artists, and approved designers. They no longer want to have used clothing, electronics, bags of socks, basically anything that is better suited for a flea market. Vendors cannot sell directly to customers or on the premises in order to avoid the 10% commission and 3% credit card fee. What you can do is you can post your pictures of your booth online, like let's say Facebook Marketplace or in a Facebook group, and say, hey, here's my booth, here's what I have available, come visit me at the mall, and then they can go to the mall to purchase those things. Price tags. They're trying to get all of the vendors to use the same tags for uniformity, because some vendors who've been there for a long time are using all different tags, smaller tags, and because they have to ring things up individually and type in the booth owner's name, the description of the item, the price, and everything, it just really makes it easier upon checkout and faster for everybody if all the tags look the same and you know where to find that information. So it's not required, but I thought it would be easier just to buy their tags. These are rather large. They're a business size. Let's see. There we go. They're business size. Sorry, this is maybe backward. This is the back of the card. It's got a little hole punched already, which I put some baker's twine through in a white color. And then here's the other side of the card. Here you put your item number if you have one. That's not required. I do like to number my items in my spreadsheet. The price, if you wanted the price to be firm, it would be written in red, capitals, firm, right above the price. Then you put the name of your booth. For me, it's Homebody. And you're supposed to write this in red. I messed this up. I got to get a red Sharpie. I was writing in black, but the name of your booth goes here. And then your description. And I put a longer description in my spreadsheet so that I know more personally what that was. But I try to make these pretty short, and you don't even have to put a description, honestly. But I try to make these short so that the people at the front desk aren't having to type out this long thing. So if I had, let's say, a cobalt blue Japanese bud vase, that might be the description that I put in my spreadsheet, but here I might just say bud vase or blue bud vase. And as long as I have my item number, I can still link it back and know specifically which item that was if I happen to have more than one bud vase. When I sell an item, I'll be able to look it up in that program that I told you about, Simple Consign. So I will be able to see exactly what was sold that day. For smaller items or where there's no place to put a tag, they have these oval stickers. It's very important when you get your items from a thrift store or any place that is already tagged the item that you bought. First of all, I clean them all up, and in that process, I take that sticker off. But let's just say you don't, and I know that some people make this mistake. Let's say you bought something for $1 and there's a $1 sticker on the bottom of it, and then you put a tag on the top that says it's $15. The customer will automatically get the lowest price. So you really want to make sure that you're paying attention to any markings, especially if it's like a vintage item made in the 50s and it said it was, I don't know, $0.25, and the customer sees that, then they're going to get that price. So just make sure you're removing all of the stickers and price tags. They do have a policy that they can terminate your contract at any time if you are being mean, nasty, or negative were some of the words that they used. And I totally get that, because nobody wants to be around someone who is being that way in a mall. It just brings everybody else down. Of course, that can be kind of subjective, but I assume they have some way of recording the behavior. I don't know. Just want to bring that up, that is in the contract. If you have lights on, and I suggest that everybody should, because when you have overhead lights, it's going to cast shadows on everything in your booth, especially if you have shelving, and people are more attracted to brighter booth. A very cheap option, and I'll show you this in my other video about setting up my booth, is a clamp light or a clip-on light from a hardware store. It comes with a silver ring around it, and you put a halogen light bulb in it. If you have any sort of beams above your booth and you can clip that on, then you can point the light directly at whatever you want to illuminate. So for me, I put it hanging from the ceiling, clamped onto something, and it's pointed right at a shelf that would otherwise be very dark in the back corner of my booth. If you have any lights on, they have to be on a timer from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Those are the general hours that the mall is open. My mall is open every day of the week, and on Sundays they're open from 1 to 6. So you just want to make sure that all of your lights are on a timer. We don't want to waste energy, right? And that's pretty much it for my antique booth vendor contract. If you have any questions about mine, I'd be happy to answer them in the comments. Just let me know, and I hope this was helpful to you. If it is, please give me a like and consider subscribing to my channel.